It was a morning like any other, or so Manuel thought when he first opened his eyes. The sunlight filtered through the blinds, casting a soft glow across the room. His head felt foggy, as if he'd slept too deeply or hadn't slept enough. Groggily, he reached to toss the blanket aside, but something stopped him. His wrist wouldn't budge, his brow furrowed in confusion. He glanced down at his hand and froze. A cold metallic band was tightly secured around his wrist. Startled, Manuel sat up, blinking in disbelief. He twisted his arm this way and that, trying to get a better look at the strange device now clamped to his body. It was sleek, almost seamless, with no visible way to unlock or remove it. Panic started to creep in. He pulled at it, tried to twist it off, but the device didn't budge. The more he tugged, the more desperate he became. The cold metal pressed tightly against his skin, as if it had been custom-made to fit his wrist perfectly. How had this even gotten there? He hadn't been out drinking the night before, hadn't invited anyone over. His mind raced, searching for answers, but there were none. But before we start, smash the like button and make sure to subscribe if you haven't, and hit that notification bell so that you won't miss any new stories. "I need to get this off," he muttered to himself, jumping out of bed and grabbing the nearest tool he could find, a screwdriver. He jabbed at the device, hoping to pry it open. Nothing. He tried a hammer next, banging it against the metal with growing frustration. Not even a scratch. The device was too strong, too well made. It was like something out of a science fiction movie, but this wasn't fiction. This was real, and it was stuck to his arm. Manuel's pulse quickened as dread settled in. He rushed through his apartment, searching for signs of an intruder. Every door was locked, every window sealed. No one had broken in. It didn't make sense. How had this thing gotten on him while he was asleep? He paused, staring down at the device again. There was no obvious function, no lights or buttons. It was just that only made it more unsettling. He had to find someone who could help, someone who knew more about strange technology. But who? Manuel thought about calling the police. That would have been the logical step. But with his criminal record, involving the authorities wasn't an option. He'd been in trouble before, minor offenses, sure, but enough to make the cops dismiss him as trouble. They wouldn't take him seriously. And what if they suspected him of being involved in something shady? No, the police were out of the question. Frustrated, he slumped down on his couch, running his fingers through his hair. His mind raced with possibilities. Could this have been some kind of sick joke? A prank? Or was there something more sinister at play? He didn't want to think about it, but the questions gnawed at him. Then it hit him. There was one guy who might be able to help, Jorge, an old friend who had a knack for all things tech. If anyone could figure out what this device was and how to remove it, it was Jorge. Without wasting any more time, Manuel grabbed his phone and dialed Jorge's number. It rang a few times before his friend picked up. "Manuel? It's been a while, man. What's going on?" Jorge's voice was casual, unaware of the bizarre situation his friend was in. "I need your help, Jorge. Something weird's happened. There's this thing on my wrist and I can't get it off. I don't know how it got there or what it is, but I need you to take a look." There was a pause on the other end of the line. "A thing? What kind of thing?" "I don't know, man. It's like a metal bracelet or something, but it's not normal. It's really weird. Can I come over?" Jorge hesitated but eventually agreed. "Yeah, sure, come over. We'll figure it out." Manuel wasted no time. Within an hour, he was at Jorge's place, sitting at a cluttered workbench while Jorge examined the device closely. Jorge's expression turned from curiosity to confusion as he ran his fingers along the smooth surface of the band, trying to find any seams or openings. "This is strange," Jorge muttered, leaning in for a closer look. "I've never seen anything like this. No markings, no mechanism to take it off. It's almost like it was designed specifically for you." "What do you mean, designed for me?" Manuel's voice was edged with frustration. "Can't you just cut it off or something?" "I don't know, man," Jorge replied, shaking his head. "If we cut it, we might damage whatever's inside. I need to figure out what this thing does first." As Jorge continued his examination, Manuel's mind raced. What if this was something dangerous? What if it was tracking him, or worse, harming him? His paranoia grew with every passing minute. Finally, Jorge stood up and looked Manuel dead in the eye. "I know someone who might have answers." "Who?" Manuel asked, desperation creeping into his voice. "A guy named Dr. Victor Strauss. He's a bit, unconventional, but he deals with tech like this. I'll give him a call." The name was unfamiliar, but at this point, Manuel didn't care. He just wanted this thing off his arm. The next day, they met Dr. Strauss in a dimly lit underground lab that smelled of burnt wires and ozone. The doctor was an eccentric-looking man, his wild hair and thick glasses giving him the appearance of a mad scientist. He didn't say much, just motioned for Manuel to sit and placed a strange device on the table. A scanner of some kind. He ran the scanner over Manuel's wrist, his eyes narrowing as data streamed onto a nearby monitor. For several minutes, the doctor said nothing, his expression unreadable. Then suddenly he stopped, pulling back from the device as if it had shocked him. "What is it?" Manuel asked, his voice shaking. Dr. Strauss looked at him gravely. "This isn't just a device, it's a tracker. But not just any tracker. This was designed by someone who knows you intimately. Whoever put this on you wasn't trying to hurt you, Manuel. They were trying to find you." "Find me? Who?" Manuel's heart raced. The doctor hesitated before saying, "Your father." The words hit Manuel like a punch to the gut. His father had disappeared when he was a child, leaving without a trace. For years, he had thought him dead or simply gone. But now this device on his wrist was the key to unlocking everything. Tears welled up in Manuel's eyes as he realized the truth. The device wasn't a curse, it was a message, a beacon meant to lead him to answers he had long given up searching for. The weight of it all crashed down on him, and in that moment he broke, sobbing uncontrollably.